Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. This week making Cullen Skink, which is a beautiful, rich, creamy soup from Scotland. Hello, I'm going to be making a Scottish soup, very hearty, slightly creamy. It's called Cullen Skink. The main ingredient is this wonderful bit of smoked haddock. It's going to have some potato, leek and onions in there. Yes, I know, it sounds extremely similar to the North American Chowder, and it is. I'm not sure which one came first. I'm not going to get into any squabbles about it either. So anyway, I'm just going to make this thing and I think you'll really like it. Alright, so from the fishing village of Cullen in Morayshire, I think I've said that right, in Scotland, we have Cullen Skink. To start off with, we're taking some smoked haddock, undyed, adding the milk into a pan with a few little aromatics, so some bay leaves and some peppercorns, and we're going to pop that over a very, very low heat to sort of steam and simmer very gently for about 7 or 8 minutes or so, just until it's nice and tender. And so just turn that down a little bit more there, Uncle Matt. We want to do it really slow, because if you boil fish like that, it will end up all tough and it's not as nice, obviously. So yeah, Cullen Skink. Cullen is the town, it's a fishing village. I think they've been fishing there for about 500 years. I couldn't find any record of exactly how old this dish is, but it's old, and it's partly Gaelic. I think the skink refers to shin of beef, and I think that was a term people used to describe soups back in the day. So I don't know. That's about as far as my research took me. Dicing some leeks there. I just broke them down because I wanted them to be sort of evenly sized. I'd like everything that goes in this soup, because it's a broth style, to be reasonably evenly sized. So that's why I took a bit of time there. And if you watch many of my videos, you'll see I've been dicing an awful lot of onions lately. So anyway, going to do that again here for you, for your pleasure. But yeah, so it's St Andrew's Day, not too far. It's at the end, I think it's at the end of November, isn't it? And obviously that's a good excuse to have this soup. Other good excuses to have it, well, one is because it's just really nice and you can have it anytime you want, but you can have Burns night, or you can have the very rare occasion when Scotland beat England at something. It doesn't happen very often, does it, lads? But you know, you keep trying. But here we go. Let's get the rest of these ingredients cooking. So into a separate pan, melting the butter along with a little bit of oil just to stop the butter from burning. And I'm going to sweat these vegetables. So in goes the when I'm ready, in goes the onion. Give that a minute or so, and then the leek. I'm just draining it now. I washed it thoroughly in cold water to get rid of any grit. Drained it, and that went into the pot as well. And just to get those going, a pinch of salt, just to it draws out some moisture, speeds up the cooking process. But again, over a fairly low heat there, just to get that going. That's after about 4 or 5 minutes. Let's pop in the potatoes. Now for this I've used some new potatoes, which is not traditional. I think it would usually be more of a floury potato rather than a waxy one, something like a Maris pipe or a russet, but I wanted them to sort of hold their form a bit more. Many of the dishes I've seen, they're quite happy for the potato to break up and sort of thicken the soup a bit, but I didn't want that. And that was the water. Again, it's all in the full recipes in the description and in my new website, which I'll share a link to that as well. Very exciting times. And this is about 7 or 8 minutes later, a very, very gentle poaching stroke steaming. The fish is ready. It's a bit hot for me to flake it at the moment, so I'm just going to give that, back off there, Uncle Matt. Just going to give that another minute or two just to cool down a bit, and then we're going to get in there. There you see, not quite as much steam coming off. We can handle it without burning my delicate little fingers. The southern softy here. And if it's not cooked, obviously the skin is not going to come off very easily, but there you go, it's coming off, peeling off, but the fish is beautifully cooked, nice and moist and juicy. I think it used to have a different name. Finnan haddie would be the absolute traditional name of the smoked haddock, which they catch at Cullen, which they produce there, but you know, any smoked haddock will be fine as long as it's undyed. And you saw me there just a moment ago take care to remove the little pin bones, because they're very unpleasant and you don't want them in your mouth. Not very nice at all, is it?
puts you off fish, really. And then breaking it up into sort of roughly similar sized pieces, but they're going to break up a bit when they go back in the pot, which is soon. But first of all, we're going to add that lovely poaching milk after we've checked. Yeah, so sorry, stepping ahead of myself. About 10 minutes in, when you think your potatoes are just about cooked, that's when you get the milk and cream in. First the infused milk, followed by the cream. And if you don't want your dish to be too rich, then don't put the cream, or put a lighter cream, put like a single cream. That is what we call double cream. In the States you'd call it heavy cream, very rich. In with the smoked haddock and gently stir that, but we do want to give that a couple of minutes to get all those flavours mingling. Yes, marrying beautifully together, seasoning along the way, tons and tons of pepper, bit of salt, easy with the salt though because the smoked haddock be quite salty. But yeah, just keep tasting it, and just beware, obviously, when you taste the small amount of soup, it's different. Imagine having a whole bowl of it. So be aware. Sometimes you can over season stuff. You can always add a bit more seasoning when you're having it, can't you? And there we go. The parsley went in, or some of the parsley, because I wanted to keep a little bit back for making it look pretty for the pictures at the end. And I decided a tiny bit more seasoning was required. A little bit of bread, which I'm going to stick in the toaster. A final taste. Are we happy? We're happy. Let's put this in a bowl. Inappropriately shaped bowl for really putting this sort of brothy soup into, but I did it anyway, so I'm going to struggle, but I think it looks nice. Pretty bowl there. Get it in there. One more bit. Doesn't that look lovely? Really hearty, warming, similar to chowder but not chowder. Cullen Skink, a smoked haddock soup, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And let's dunk a bit of toast, and then I'm going to hand you back over to me for the tasting.
All right. Cullen Skink, very similar to chowder. I think just a little bit of sweet corn in this, and you've got a smoked haddock chowder. Which came first is I don't know. It is quite rich. That's because I used a double cream, a heavy cream. I think if you used a less heavy cream, or even no cream at all, you'd have a much lighter dish there, soup. But I like that. And on a cold autumn evening, you want your cockles warming, beautiful. And I would just say, please don't use the dyed fish for this. The dyed smoked, it's not very good, and it would ruin the colour of the finished soup. So anyway, that is lovely. Well done, Scotland. You come up with a nice dish, and you did deep fry it. Progress. Anyway, catch me in the next one. Come real soon. Bye.